What?
What's up, Brian? I hear that you're getting married. Congratulations.
Choice to tell Lindsay.
Getting toast. Eggs, bacon, and toast. You should start your day the Gurgage way with eggs, bacon, and toast. Hey, Victoria, how are you? This is now Jim O'Hare. Yes, the guy who played Jerry Gurgage in Parks and Recreation. And your mom and dad tell me that you are truly graduating from high school and that you are the valedictorian. That is amazing! Really amazing. And I just want to say congratulations. And that you're heading to UCLA School of Engineering. Okay, that seems shockingly hard. That seems very hard. That would make, that's giving me, I'm getting anxiety just thinking about it.
Are you crying? You gotta listen. You're not even listening. Are you okay?
I don't know. Does he know Gilbert?
I was chatting recently with Roxanne and Christine. You may know this. We're kind of best friends. We've been best friends for years. We play really card games together on Thursday nights. It's been a tradition for years. They like to keep it on the download on the friends because they don't.
Oh. Oh.
Oh my god!
That is the fucking craziest thing goddamn ever! What?
By the way, I know my
That's what? Michael Rappaport just what? Oh my god.
And also, the guys in the race, so is Larry, encourages me basketball, and Coconuts and Captain Fat, Agent Crispy, and Tony Punk and Santiago, and all his David Chickens, and all the jokers. You the best as well. Have a happy Father's Day, sir. Take care, bye. How you're the best dad and the best husband in the world, and how much they love you. By the way, congrats on retiring. That's awesome, buddy. I mean, that's what life's about. It's retiring and then enjoying your family. That being said, give your damn wife some space, okay? Like, you guys have been apart for a little bit. You've been working.
Oh my god!
Real deal, Rachel.
Happy birthday, my friend. 10x everything, be great.
He's the real great cut off, bro. He's the real great cut off, bro. But how did you do it? It's fucking great cut off, bro. Bro, how did you get it? Great cut off.
Who was that?
That was Nick Vial! Can we download it?
Yeah.
And yeah, have a great night, Mama. I love you.
And let's rock this one, y'all. Let's go!
Just give me advice. That's good advice.
Cause I'm a son of a gun. I'm out.
Oh my god, this is
That's really funny.
Anyways, thank you so much for reaching out to me. I know you said that I bring happiness to your family. That makes me feel good. Thank you so much. And happy 58th birthday from Paula Shore. Here's to another 58 years, Dan. I love you guys. It's Polly. Signing off. Bye.
What?
What's up, Brian? I hear that you're getting married. Angela, congratulations on getting married. There was a huge instinct.
Joey Fatone from NSYNC.
Happy Mother's Day from me and your wonderful, wonderful husband.
I'm making friend. Holy Ardrell? You got me drinking fucking Ben's balls. I can't even fucking pronounce it.
bacon and toast. Eggs, bacon, and toast. You should start your day the Gurgage way with eggs, bacon, and toast. Hey, Victoria, how are you? This is now Jim O'Hare. Yes, the guy who played Jerry Gurgage on Parks and Recreation. And your mom did tell me that you are truly graduating from high school and that you are the valedictorian. That is amazing! Really amazing. And I just want to say congratulations. And that you're heading to UCLA School of Engineering. Okay, that seems shockingly hard. That seems very hard. That would make, that's giving me, I'm getting anxiety just thinking about it.
Are you crying? You gotta listen. You're not even listening. Are you okay?
Happy 70th birthday, Chopper.
How did you do that?
I don't know. Does he know Gilbert?
I was chatting recently with Roxanne and Christine. You may not know this, but we're kind of best friends. We've been best friends for years. We play really the card game together on Thursday nights. It's been a tradition for years. They like to keep it on the down low that we're friends because they're not people.
Oh. Oh.
Oh my god!
Happy birthday, Charlie.
That's so awesome.
How did you do that? How did you do that? How did you do that?
I don't know.
Kick-ass wrestling in 2019. Happy Father's Day, David and Loved.
That is the fucking craziest thing goddamn ever. What?
By the way, I know Michael Rappaport.
That's what? Michael Rappaport just what? Oh my god.
Your sweater, baby. Anyways, well done. Happy birthday. Take care. All the best. Bye-bye.
It better be good, man. And also, the guy said that West is married, encouraging basketball, and Mother Coconuts and Captain Fat Loading to Crispy to Tony Pump in Santiago, and all his head. Have a happy Father's Day, sir. Take care. Bye. How you're the best dad and the best husband in the world. Absolutely love you. By the way, congrats on retiring. That's awesome, buddy. I mean, that's what life's about. It's retiring and enjoying your family. That being said, give your damn wife some space, okay? Like, you guys have been apart for a little bit. You've been working.
Happy birthday, my friend. 10x everything, be great. Anything I can ever do for you.
He's the real great cut on, bro. He's the real great cut on, bro. But how did you do it? It's fucking great cut on, bro. Bro, how did you get it? Great cut on.
Who was that?
That was Nick Vial. Can I download it?
Yeah.
And have a great night, Mama. I love you.
And let's rock this one here, let's go!
Cause I'm a son of a gun. I'm out.
Oh my god!
Early to rise, early to say, thank God I'm a country boy. Anyways, I'm here in Silver Lake, California. You guys are probably out there somewhere in the Midwest. Anyways, thank you so much for reaching out to me. I know you said that I bring happiness to your family. That makes me feel good. Thank you so much. And happy 58th birthday from Paula Shore. Here's to another 58 years, Dan. I love you guys. It's Paulie. Signing off. Bye.
What's up, Brian? I hear that you're getting married. Angela, congratulations on getting married. Angela, he was a huge NSYNC fan.
Joey Patel from NSYNC.
Happy Mother's Day from me and your wonderful, wonderful husband, Grace. You said you're an incredible mom and toaster, honestly. You know, 2 million in Haiti. Your kids, Brody and Haley, also want to wish you a happy Mother's Day.
Amazing. Holy art trail? Art and rail? Art and rail. You got me drinking fucking men's balls. I can't even fucking pronounce your fucking name. I know you're a fucking journalist. Don't know the fucking opinion.
And then toast, eggs, bacon, toast. You should start your day the Gurgage way with eggs, bacon, and toast. Hey, Victoria, how are you? This is now Jim O'Hare. Yes, the guy who played Jerry Terry.
right, we are live. Hello to the Cameo Famio all around the world joining us here today for our Rockstar panel. And I am Mike Portnoy coming to you from my quarantine in Pennsylvania. It's my first time out of pajamas in about a month. Got dressed up for you guys today. And quick setup here for those of you that don't know about Cameo. Obviously, if you're here because you're part of the whole Cameo Cares weekend, you know what Cameo is. If you're here because you came here from one of our individual social medias and you're not aware of what Cameo is, it's a great platform where people like us, musicians, athletes, actors, anybody, YouTubers, can send out messages to you guys. And this is a great time for such a thing because, first of all, we're all home. It's not always easy for us to all be home and able to do this. We're all home. We're able to do this right now, but it's also a great time for people that need to be cheered up by a video, a shout out, a birthday greeting, whatever it takes to put a smile on people's faces these days. And so there you go. So we're here for Cameo Cares, and all the proceeds for these 3 days are going to help out with the coronavirus and all of I think the World Health Organization. So if you order a Cameo, anything you're doing to be a part of these 3 days is helping out people all around the world. So thank you for joining us. So let's get to it. We have about half hour here. I'm going to be the moderator here. I was sent a list of questions, but to be honest, I think it'll be cooler if it's a lot more casual. I have a few questions I do want to throw out there, but for the most part, I think we're going to keep it informal and let everybody kind of do their thing. So let me go around the room. Here we have Mr. Bruce Kulick right here in the center.
Hello,
the only member of KISS to never have worn makeup.
This is true.
You have that distinction.
Say it like you're proud.
Yeah.
Still today.
Andy, that whole era is another time period that kind of I waved the flag for that.
Speaking of makeup, he's not in makeup today, but up in the top corner, a man whose ass I got the honor of looking at every night for the last 2 years of the last two Twisted Sister tours. Mr. D. Snyder, one of the greatest frontmen on earth.
Thank you, Michael.
Yes.
Mike, you know, I'm just looking here. I'm going, we are bass players short of a really cool band.
Well, there is Mr. Rick Nielsen from Cheap Trick,
good morning,
and the local prankster for Cheap Trick for what? Oh, it's got to be coming up on 45 years, 50 years?
Yeah, about 50 years.
Wow, amazing. Welcome,
ridiculous.
Great to have you. Up in the top corner, my fellow drummer, Mr. Ricky Rocket. He from Poison, who's set to be doing the stadium tour this summer. Fingers crossed, they'll be doing that with Motley Crue and Def Leppard if it comes to happen. But in any case, what's up, Ricky? How you doing, bro?
And Joan Jett, right? Is it Joan opening?
And Joan Jett, yep.
Yeah. Yep. It's a good it's a good one. And Tuck Smith too is going to be out on some of the shows. So I really hope it happens. I haven't heard that it isn't. I haven't heard that it is. I'm listening to the same radio stations and TV stations you guys are. So, and fingers crossed, you know.
Right. And last but not least, we have Andy Biersack up there. Hey, Andy, how you doing? Welcome to the chat.
I'm happy to be here. I am honored to be amongst the legends. I don't belong here at all, but I'm happy to listen to you guys talk about cool shit.
Modest Andy. There he goes.
Says the man with the most social media followers.
Yeah, exactly. If anybody's watching this, it's because of Andy. Keep that in mind.
You guys are too kind.
All right, so I have a bunch of general questions. I'm going to start. I do want to definitely touch upon what the hell we're going through right now and how it's going to affect us. But let's get to that later. I'd rather take one of the questions that Cameo did feed me. I think it's a good question, and it kind of sets us up. We kind of have three generations here. We have Rick and D, Rick D and Bruce, who kind of started their careers in their respective bands throughout the 70s and 80s. You have me and Ricky, who in our respective bands, we kind of came up in the 80s and the 90s. And then you have Andy, who's obviously part of today's generation. So if we could go kind of chronologically, just to see how the times have changed, because one of the things that this panel is about is people want to know how to succeed in this business and how do you do this? And obviously the times have changed dramatically from the 70s and the 80s and from the 90s, and then the way it is now. It's worlds apart. But if we can go through at least the 3 generations in what you did when you were starting out in your bands, how'd you get signed? How'd you get noticed? And what did you do?
So you want to start with the youngest guy, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've been playing with Tom Peterson, our bass player, since 1966. So that'll give you some. The way to get successful is never give up, and take about any job you can, and we still do. I mean, it's like right now we're supposed to be out with ZZ Top. We've already moved that till next year at this time. And then later this year we're supposed to be out with Rod Stewart, and we don't know what he's going to do. And I've played with everybody on here except Mr. Black Veil Brides.
Andy, yes. I was fortunate to get the jam with Andy at one point. We did it at the Golden God Awards?
Golden Gods 2012, I think. Yeah,
it was cool. But you know what? Rick is absolutely right, and I'm not going to eat up all the time talking about Twisted's long storied career. There's a great documentary called We Are Twisted, Blanking Sister, which shows that we were together for 10 years before the band, the world discovered the band. And it's just perseverance and just refusal to take no for an answer, As Alice Cooper said to me once, after a while, they just get used to you being there. So just refuse to leave.
D, can everybody hear me okay? Somebody was saying they couldn't. Can you
got
hear
the
me?
best sound of everything.
Oh, okay, awesome.
You got a professional mic.
I saw you guys at the Metron in Harrisburg. Okay. Wow. And then I think followed you to Philly the next night. Somebody like the road manager said, hey, if you're going to drive all the way up there, we'll get you in. You know what I mean? So I think like Empire Rock Room or something. And it was so cool because you had the pink fences at the time. Do you remember that?
Yeah, the pink barbed wire fences. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like, when you walked in there, it was an atmosphere. It wasn't just a stage with a band. It was like you controlled the whole freaking club. It was a completely different thing. And I think that's part of being successful too, is being able to, where people buy into the whole package, not just like a song or a look, or everybody thinks it's these micro things. It was like this entire, you felt like you were in Twisted Sister land when you walked into that club, and you came out and you frickin' owned it, and it was amazing. So they've made a huge impact on me before we ever came out west here and tried to do what we were doing. So Bret was with me too, as a matter of fact.
Speaking of Bret, and we're all connected here, that, okay? And I actually started off with some disco bands that toured, but then I was with Meatloaf for the Bat Out of Hell tour. And Rick, we opened for you guys, Cheap Trick in
Chicago,
and we got booed off the stage.
Yeah.
Keep going for it. There's
Meatloaf said he would never do another, open another show, and he never did.
Yeah, but somehow it took off, and we didn't really have to. But it took a little while, and we learned a lot from that show. And, I just never stopped either, fortunately. Okay, and then, of course, when I had the opportunity for KISS, I always tell people that ask, like, how to be successful. I'm very clear with, it's not about luck. It is opportunity doesn't always happen for everybody, but you need to answer that door when it knocks. That old expression, opportunity knocks. And certainly when KISS needed somebody because the new guitar player was ill, I was there, and I was professional and did the job, and I was happy to be there. And that's why I got to hang out with people from your band, D, and I got to meet, Bret Michaels at the Sunset, marquee, where he hands me a card that says Poison on it. He's excited to meet me in '85. You guys, nobody knew you guys. I still have the card with his phone number on it. So we're all kind of like connected.
It still works.
It works with the number. And then lastly, Andy, especially the new generation, I meet him, at one of these big autograph convention horror film music thing, and the girls are chasing him around, and he's like, Bruce is there, and him and his dad and I got to hang out because they were.
Dad's very cool. Andy's dad's a very cool guy.
And Mike, I only know you from a lot of people. Okay. Yeah. We never got a chance to work together, but I know a gazillion people you've worked with. Yeah, and that networking thing, I think everybody out there who's watching this that wants to know about how to be successful, doing the best you can at everything you do and meeting people and keeping in touch in a professional way, it goes a long way. It really does.
Well, before I pass it over to Andy to hear about your success story, I just want to chime in on what Dee said, because I too was a kid on Long Island sneaking into the clubs when I was a teenager to see Twisted Sister, and Twisted Sister were local Long Island legends, and their story is a perfect story. Like Dee said, the movie captures it perfectly, of perseverance. 10 years in the clubs before they even played the West Coast, before they even had a record deal, before MTV blew them up. So that is a great example of perseverance, playing the clubs, banging it out night after night after night after night. Obviously, this generation's kids, if you're a young musician right now watching this, it's not really like that anymore. It was a much, much different scene back then. Now none of us could do anything. But even when we could, the club scene isn't now what it used to be. So I'm going to throw it to you, Andy. How did you get your break, and how did you come up in this generation?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's no secret that there isn't much call on the grand scale for hard rock music when it comes to like the top 40 charts and everything else. And so there is it's not to be woe is me, but there's a more difficult hill to climb when you're a hard rock band that believes in the kind of ethic and the idea that you guys, our forefathers, the bands that came before us, our idols. It's hard to kind of carry that torch in a way when there's not quite as much opportunity. But the reality is the audience is still there. People just don't, people in the kind of mainstream aren't as referential to the rock audience, but they certainly are there, and they picked us up. I moved out from Cincinnati when I was 18 years old. I lived in my car out here. I lived in my car outside of a rehearsal space, just trying to get things going, meeting people, trying to start the band. And, you know, I mean, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that a big part of what got us success was I like to yell at people on stage. And like Dee, I was very heavily influenced by Dee and just starting shit. And I didn't take any shit from anybody. And our start was, you know, if people didn't like us, then fuck them. And we just kind of went from that. And so it was certainly a difficult road to hoe to get to the point where we had what you might call like success on a larger scale, to where we have some comfort in our lives and, you know, we're able to tour more comfortably and everything. But it's still a constant battle to try to maintain some level of consistency when it comes to the output, because the reality is the record industry just isn't there the way it used to be. I mean, we're all aware of that, but I'll be honest with you, as much as I know that it was cooler in the old days from what I've read and seen, I've been so fortunate over the last decade plus to have the career I have, that I'm just happy that I get to do this and I get to dress up in crazy outfits and sing rock songs and yell at people. So,
you know, we took that whole thing about, you know, if somebody doesn't like you, fuck them, literally, because we just started to fuck everything to try to get them to come to shows. And that was my secret to success, because they're like, we really feel bad for the guy.
Fuck you, Ricky. Fuck you.
All right. One of the questions I have here that Cameo also gave me, and I was reluctant to bring this up until I remembered a thing that Dee was doing recently, and Ricky, you just brought it up as well. So the question was, with hip hop recently taking over rock as America's most popular genre, that's their words, not mine. Do you worry that rock is dying? And I will say, Dee, it's a good time to touch on the petition you started, but for the Super Bowl, but not only the Super Bowl, you see it with the Grammys, you see it with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It seems that like mainstream America only knows about pop and hip hop. And what about rock that has been here for over 60 years now?
Let me tell you, it is thankfully my sons and daughter taking me to shows forever. That's how I met Andy. And rock is alive and well. And you can see it in the clubs, you can see it in the halls, you can see it at the festivals. The audience is passionate, the bands are passionate. It's just not getting a spotlight shown on it. And that is the great downfall of rock and roll, but it has gone nowhere. They're mad. Look at how many followers Andy Biersack has. It's insane. How many followers you got on Instagram, brother?
I think 2.3 million right now.
Okay, so there's rock and roll fans out there. Okay, there are rock and roll fans out there. It's just a shame that people talk like this negative talk. Rock and roll is dead. It just sort of starts permeating the way people view the music, but it's not true. It is a lie. It is a lie. Rock and roll is alive and well.
And you started a petition, for the people that don't know, to try to get AC/DC to play the Super Bowl halftime, which right now is a moot point. But the point is very, very valid. How many people that are in the stadiums at the sports shows, whether it be football, baseball, basketball, they know every one of those AC/DC songs. They know every one of the Guns N' Roses songs. They know every one of the Queen songs.
It's crazy, dude. When it's 4th and 1, no one sings "Hips Don't Lie." That's not the go-to song. Jenny on the Block on the, no. It's "Welcome to the Damn Jungle." Enter Sandman. Crazy Train. We hear these things on a loop at sporting events, yet they're never represented during the halftime shows.
We hear Gary Glitter. Think
Gary
about
Glitter,
that.
for God's sake.
Every frickin' and nobody even knows that that's Gary Glitter. Dun, 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 hey, dun, dun, dun.
Well, now they know it because of Joker. It's a whole new search because of Joker, but yeah.
The one thing, the Queen movie, that really proved. Look, the thing won all these awards, Oscars, and the box office was off the map, really. And that's Queen. That's rock. But I think you're right. This narrative of rock is dead, just somehow it's permeated in a bad way.
Well, another thing too, Bruce, I think, is that there was a lot of press that came out where rock people that didn't make it in rock or fell from grace were tearing apart every rock band out there. And then rock started to become where everyone's eating themselves. They're saying, "Oh, I hate that band. I hate that band. They suck. We're great, but you suck, but I'm okay." But you know what I mean? Instead of supporting
it is
you
don't
have that dynamic. And I'm sorry, what's that, Andy?
You're totally right. It is, for us as younger bands, there is a certain cannibalistic element to it, and it's unfortunate, but
it's always
not
been there,
everywhere.
Andy. It's
always been there.
That's not metal. That's metal. That's not true metal. That's false. It's just crap. I'm really curious with Rick. Rick, you only have a few years on me, brother, but you've been in the game for a long time. What is your opinion on this?
Well, I totally agree. It's like when we came out, our first record came out in '77, but my first record came out in '68 on Epic. But in '77, are you there?
Yeah,
77. Although I always liked the Bee Gees, but the Bee Gees, that's what was out. It was the disco stuff and Olivia Newton-John. And for us to come out, they said, we don't want this stuff anymore. And I said, we just persevered on it. It's like, we knew what we liked. And I mean, last Christmas I got invited to go to Jeff Beck's house. My favorite guitar player in 1965 is still my favorite today, and he's playing out of this world stuff. It's like, like we went back to, we used to play everything. We'd play 5 sets a night at Ollie's place. We used to play 300 nights a year. We didn't need auto-tune, we were out of tune to start with.
Right. And it's one thing to be petitioning for a sporting event like the Super Bowl, but I think, we do have the Grammys as well that just completely forget about metal. I mean, they have their go-to bands every year. And I love the Foo Fighters, one of my favorite bands out there, but there are so many other bands out there that deserve that kind of attention. And none of the rock or metal categories are ever broadcast for the Grammys. So it's not just sporting events. It's just a stigma that's been attached to a genre that's been around longer than all of them.
But it reinforces that message with the general public that rock is dead. Right. It's just an advertisement on a loop. It's dead. It's dead. It's dead. And the young kids growing up. That's why I thought a moment like AC/DC at the Super Bowl could be like that Beatles moment in 19. Really could. Right. With hundreds of millions of people watching, it could light the fires in a million young people to want to pick up a guitar and rock. If they just saw something like that again.
None better than.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Rick. You have seniority.
There's none better than AC/DC.
Yeah,
amazing.
But do you keep flying that flag? Even if we don't have a Super Bowl, keep flying that flag because it's important. And you got the voice to get it across. So
I got a big mouth. Yeah,
perfect.
I ain't stopping. I'm so passionate about this that rock is not dead. It's such a false narrative. Yeah. You just go to the concert halls to see what's going on. And some of what you talk about people cannibalizing. I mean, Gene, I don't want to tear up Gene, but he did something in an article in GQ a number of years ago where he said rock was dead. Don't bother picking up a guitar. And it was like, how can our own people be reinforcing that message? Our job is to lift up young people like Andy, not crush their spirits.
Well, I think Ricky was still may do this tour this summer. That proves that. There you have Motley Crue, Def Leppard, Poison, Joan Jett playing and selling out stadiums, the same stadiums that these football games are taking place in. So, yeah.
You know what? It's we're extremely, extremely fortunate. But I think that organic rock music is absolutely going to go into the forefront again. It just is. But it's going to require a little bit. I mean, I think it needs to reinvent itself a little bit. It's been a little bit too. People need to be a little more creative in the rock genre. It's a little bit too like this guy could be in that band, or he could be in that band, or he could play with this guy, and everybody looks the same and plays the same. There needs to be a little more of a movement, a little more of a scene. Like when I was growing up, there was a punk scene, there was a rock scene, then metal came along, then there was scenes, and it created a lot of energy. And rock's been a little stagnant for a while. It's there. I mean, even people like Steve Miller can put on tickets for sale and sell fucking out. It's amazing. So Dee is absolutely right. It's there. But as far as newer bands, I think rock is going to have to reinvigorate itself just a little bit and not just copy what other people have done that came before them.
I think a lot of it, to be fair, it comes down to where you're going, though. Like, if you're not entering those festivals, if you're not going to Warped Tour or these other things and seeing the life that the bands have, it could seem as if there is no movement or anything different that's going on now. But I mean, look, I'm not saying that we're in some sort of heyday of rock music, but I think that, to be fair to the current bands, there is a certain amount of, if you don't see us, you're not going to know it's existing. And I think that there is some fun in the anonymity there, and that we exist kind of underground. But I think,
fuck anonymity, man. Fuck anonymity.
Well, look,
you want to be a fucking household word, brother.
I want my name on a building. That's the whole deal, right? But I understand that there's a certain degree of acceptance that you have right now to go, look, we have the audience that we have, and we're lucky to do that. But there is difference. If you walk through Warped Tour or Warped Tour doesn't exist anymore, but those types of environments, the types of bands that are playing are so vastly different, and the scene differential is huge just within the context of what we're doing. So I think in many ways, because it's not getting mainstream play and you're not seeing it in front of you as often, many people, myself included, I don't know all the fucking bands that are out there right now. It's just because it's so piecemeal and it's so separated, you have the opportunity to stream whatever type of rock music you want. So it's not necessarily
target marketed now. Now it's directed exactly, specifically at the audience. They receive it. There's no spillover like MTV, where if you wanted to see your band, you had to watch and listen to a whole shitload of bands. But that gave people exposure to Twisted and Motley Crue and hip hop and every other kind of music. You saw it all.
Okay, I need to jump in. I'm just getting the 10-minute warning here. We started late, so we're going to go a little late, but we're already down to 10 minutes. We have one fan question that I want to throw out there, and then after that, I want to get to one more panel question for everybody that I think is definitely requires some addressing. The fan question. Everybody answer this. We'll go down the line. He asked, if you could perform with one person, dead or alive, who would it be? So just a fun, quick question.
John Lennon, and I did.
Wow, really?
I'll second that one. Tell us about that, Rick?
Yeah.
Well, we were asked when John was doing the Double Fantasy record. We got a phone call from Jack Douglas, and we went to New York. And I came from Montreal the night before. My wife had just had our baby, Dax, who's now the drummer for Cheap Trick.
So cool.
And my wife gave me the hall pass to be there. I said if it was a McCartney, fuck it, I would have been in the hospital. So I got to play with John, and I gave him a guitar. And 3 years after he was murdered, I got it back from Yoko.
Wow.
And when we were playing with him in the studio, I was doing a song called "Losing You," and I came up with the riff with it. And he looked at Bunny and says, "If I wish I would have had Rick on Cold Turkey, because Clapton choked up." And I said, "Well, after that, we were perhaps going to be going out and being Cheap Trick was going to be John Lennon's band for the next album." but that never happened, obviously.
Wow.
Wow.
And
All
so
right,
that was the one. That was the one.
As the next oldest, I'll keep it simple. Angus Young, AC/DC. I like running around a stage. That guy runs on a stage. If I didn't run him over, it'd be an amazing show.
Excellent. Bruce, what you could play with one person, dead or alive. Who would it be?
Well, I would admit, even though I probably wouldn't know what to do on the guitar in front of Jimi Hendrix, I'd love to be that close to him so I could watch him play that close. I did get to see him when I was young, but not like standing next to the guy. So, and the other guy I always fantasize about is Paul McCartney, but I should mention him now after what Rick said.
Well, no.
I'll go with Jimmy.
Ricky, you want to pick somebody other than Lennon just to get a different choice out there?
Yeah. Wow. McCartney would be awesome to play for.
All right, Beatles. I get it.
You want to know something, D? If you're going to be with AC/DC and run around, I mean, my God, that'd be like quarterbacks, right? I mean, there'd be its own football game between you and Angus.
Love that.
Put helmets on.
Yeah, exactly.
Andy, one person dead or alive that you could perform with.
Yeah, we've had the opportunity to perform with a lot of amazing people. So one person that we've known for a while and has been very complimentary of the band, but we've never had a chance to play with, would be Alice. I would love to be able to sing with Alice Cooper and do the whole show and everything.
Cool. Killer.
That could happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
It will after now.
My quick answer would be either Frank Zappa or like I guess, Bruce, you mentioned another guitar player just to be in the vicinity with. I would want that with either Keith Moon or John Bonham as well. So,
What's that song that Frank used to audition drummers and people on?
The Black Page.
The Black Page.
And you know the meaning. You know why it's called the Black Page? Because the notation had so many notes and time signatures, polyrhythms. The page was just completely black with notes.
Can you play the Black Page, Mike?
I can't. I never took the challenge. When I was at Berkeley, that was the ultimate challenge, and I was scared shitless of it. All right, we're down to 5 minutes. I want to address probably the most important question now, given where we're at, what the hell's going on. We're all from our homes in quarantine. This is a crazy, unprecedented time. There's never been a time in the history of rock music where there haven't been concerts or sporting events, for that matter. This is unprecedented, and the big question is, what now? And I just want to just start by saying it's the last few years with streaming music, Spotify in particular, has taken away any revenue to the artists and the musicians for records and the music. So we've already lost our income from the music itself. The only way musicians in 2020 could make income is to go on the road. You have the merch, you got the VIPs and the meet and greets, and that was it. Now, with that indefinitely taken away from us, what the hell do we do? And what do not only the six of us, but every musician out there watching, what now? How do we deal with this? And I'm throwing it out there for everybody.
Well, first of all, you should be making money from streaming, and you should renegotiate if you have not, because we just went through that poison. So there is a way to make that happen. And thank God Taylor Swift, of all people, spearheaded making that stuff happen.
But younger musicians are not going to make money off of Spotify. They're lucky to even get their music up there. So how does a young musician, forget about, I mean, I've been doing this for 30-something years. I'm still wondering, what the hell am I going to do if I can't tour? But forget about the young, unestablished musician. What now?
I think brand deals are a big thing, especially for somebody like Andy, young, good-looking guy. There's a lot of people that are going to want to, get behind him brand-wise. I mean, that's the world we live in now. Some of us older guys, maybe not so much, but maybe I can get a bifocal endorsement. But you know what I mean? So brand deals are a big thing, especially if you're a YouTuber. So,
but that's not rock and roll, man. Michael, you just kind of blew my mind. I haven't thought about that because it honestly doesn't affect me. And I don't mean to be that removed, but I'm not worrying about it because I'm not in that world, really anymore. But this is awful because that's all they've got is live performing. You're right. And if you can't live perform, and I was going to say that social distancing thing, part of the energy of a live concert is that mob herd mentality where everybody becomes one. And when it's really going, the whole audience, tens of thousands of people could just one body reacting. But in a sparsely filled club, we've all been there. When you're starting out, it's tough to get anybody reacting when there's nobody even near them rocking with them, you know. So this is you just scared the crap out of me. You really.
No,
Well, I mean, we were
gotta
meant to
play
be on
live,
tour right
man.
now. Yeah, we were meant to be on tour right now. The tour would have wrapped on May 15th, but you know, I'd be lying if I didn't say it was a financial struggle to get. You know, for us, we have production and staging and all this stuff that was bought, and then the tour gets pulled out, and you know, you wind up, for us, not being a band that has years of hits or anything else in terms of financial gain from it. It's a difficult thing. You have to just try to prepare and do what you can. You try to utilize different types of marketing. We're writing and doing what we can to record separately right now to try to come up with new material and things that we can release. It's just about kind of going with the flow. I think by and large, today's music world is a lot about finding what's happening and finding a way to put your art into it. You know, whatever is true to you, the rock and roll that you're making, find a way to put it into the current world that exists in terms of streaming and videos. And as you said, brand deals and other things. As long as it's true to who you are as an artist, I think that's all that matters.
I think one revenue is to do. I'm sorry, Mike.
No.
One revenue is like video games. You know, if you can get your music into a video game, like that is one thing that pays for sure. I'm just talking about money right now. I'm not talking about, or you know, feeling artistically happy about it. I thought we were just talking about ways to make revenue. So that is definitely a way to make revenue. But I mean, playing live. Oh my God, I'm with D. If we can't play live, man, it's like. That's what I live for. I think we all do.
And not to come off like a bunch of whiny rich rock stars, but there's also, I'm just talking about the musician angle, but what about all of our crews? We all have crews, tour managers, lighting techs, LDs, bus drivers, truck drivers. What about all the people that
if you don't mind, I just, before I forget it, I want to say the Nomad Fund, a lot of crew and different crew across the whole music industry are putting together a fund. It's on GoFundMe. You can look up the Nomad Fund for guys who don't have jobs right now in the rock and roll touring world. Check that out.
Excellent. Anybody else want to chime in? I'm getting the 2-minute warning, but I want to make sure everybody gets their opinion.
Just real quick, I want to say the only thing I could think of was keep feeding my fans with content of, you know, riffs that I've played through the years, and I'm calling them isolated riffs. But monetarily, to go to Ricky's point, I've been reminding people that I give guitar lessons. You know, I used to enjoy doing that. Sometimes my wife's yelling at me and she's laughing. Don't be so mean. You know what I mean? Because I can be tough, but I do really enjoy it even if I just get them to play the E chord right, you know, and D, you would appreciate that. You got to get the E chord right.
Absolutely. I can play an E chord. I just want to say one thing here.
Demonic triad.
I've been to all these small gigs and I've seen the new bands. My children, as I said, have kept me. The passion is there. And no matter what happens in this world, we will never stop people from picking up guitars and rocking out one way or the other. If they don't make a freaking penny, they're going to keep doing it. Because when it gets to you, you can't not do it. They're going to, where there's a will, there's a way, and they will rock.
But I will not to be a downer, D, and you're right. But the thing that scares the crap out of me is that amazing budding musician, 12-year-old kid that's a virtuoso, could be the next Eddie Van Halen. But because he can't make a penny off of being a musician, he puts himself in a position where he can't pursue it because he actually has to make a living. And that's what scares the crap out of me. The amazing potential artists and musicians out there that may be scared out of pursuing it because of the modern climate.
Yeah,
but
right now, nobody's making a living.
Right.
Right now, nobody's making a living.
Exactly. That's the point.
Well, you know what? I mean, you know, there are some young people that get on YouTube and make a career from playing on YouTube.
Yeah.
And so it's a viable option. I mean, there's a lot of people that have done it and done very well, but it's weird. It's like the two worlds don't really always meet. You know what I mean? The virtual YouTube online world and, you know, playing live concerts don't always come together. And that's the tricky part.
But this is where we're at now, because this is what we have to utilize YouTube and Zoom and all these quarantine videos. And frankly, it may be an incredibly creative and fruitful time for people to write and record. I mean, we're going to see more albums come out of this. It's going to be like a baby boom, you know? At least the creativity will never be taken away. But the fact that none of us can play right now is heartbreaking. And let's just all pray they come up with a vaccine. We can get through this and get back on stage and back into the the venue's rocking
You're
with
here.
the bands. Yeah. I'm being told we got to wrap up. Thank you so much, everybody, for being a part of this. It was great seeing all you guys, and
Yeah,
thank
very
you
cool.
so much.
Fun. We'll do it
And
again.
everybody that tuned in,
Thank you.
Cameo is another way. I mean, you know, a lot of artists can do cameos now that they're home, and it's a way of putting a few bucks in their pockets. And if you if you have it to share, it puts a smile on people's faces. So Cameo is another way that some artists that can't get out there and play can have some source of income. So anyway, thank you to Cameo for putting this together. Thank you to everybody that's contributed all these 3 days to Cameo Cares. And once again, thank you to all you guys for coming out and do this. Thank you.
Thanks to everybody.
Thanks very much. Appreciate it. Thanks, everybody.
Stay safe.
What's up, Brian? I hear that you're getting married. Congratulations.
Joyce the Town, Lindsay.
I can't even fucking pronounce your fucking name. I know you're a fucking journalist. And pull up the fucking big end. Okay, just
Bacon and toast. Eggs, bacon and toast. You should start your day the Gurgage way with eggs, bacon and toast. Hey, Victoria, how are you? This is now Jim O'Hare. Yes, the guy who played Jerry Gurgage on Parks and Recreation. And your mom and dad tell me that you are truly graduating from high school and that you are the valedictorian. That is amazing! Really amazing. And I just want to say congratulations. And that you're heading to UCLA School of Engineering. Okay, that seems shockingly hard. That seems very hard. That would make, that's giving me, I'm getting anxiety just thinking about it.
Are you crying? You gotta listen. You're not even listening. Are you okay?
Yo, what up? It's your boy Aries Spears right here of the Spears and Steinberg podcast, aka the Jew and the Jerk. Available through iTunes, Apple, Google Play, Spotify, Amazon, Spearsburg.com. Hit your boy on Instagram, DM me, and I'll send you the personal link. Now, at this time, I would like everybody that's listening and looking right now to help me welcome some of the biggest names in hip hop. I want y'all to give it up to my peoples, Lecrae, DJ Paul, Akon, and Flav and Safari in the building.
I can't hear. I ain't got no head.
Hey, help Flav out.
Fuck, man.
Hey.
Flav, I think you need to unmute your shit.
Hey, yo, I think I got it.
There you go.
Man, I ain't gonna lie.
There we go.
This is the volume button. People don't know how to work shit.
You're an old nigga. You like me. We dinosaurs.
Hey, don't tell nobody. Keep that a secret. Somebody might hear you.
Nah,
niggas, B.
Flavor, old young nigga.
hey, what's up, Akon?
What up, daddy?
I see my guy. Word up, G. I love you, bro. Word up,
same here, man.
My motherfucking man, G.
That's what's up.
So y'all ready to rock and roll?
Let's do it.
Do it. All right. One of the first questions I want to ask all of y'all is, what has everybody been doing during the quarantine?
Who's going first?
I think we probably all doing the same thing. At the house, you know, I've been in the studio, so I've been working in the studio, spent some time with the kids, obviously, as well too. But you know, when I am out the house, I'm in the car doing conference calls, doing video calls, doing phone calls. You know, so my time really I spend inside the car. But other than that, you know, I just been pretty much at the crib, just making up for lost time.
Paul B, how about you?
Yeah, I just been making beats, fucking in the studio, making beats like crazy. I'm up to 48 beats now, man. I'm going crazy up in here.
You better send some of those this way, boy.
Man, you know I sent some this way.
I need that folder, daddy.
I got you. I just been, man, but you know what, to be honest with you, man, I've been doing some things that I've been meaning to do that I've been bullshitting around with. So like, for instance, I paid like 10 months ago, I paid $7,000 for a new DJ setup, turntables and mixers. And it's set in a box for the longest. And when I saw D Nice go live DJing one day, I was like, oh my God. So I gotta do it. I opened up the box, finally opened up that box, and I started 3 weeks ago doing a little live DJ set on Sundays. But it took this quarantine to make me do that.
Oh, that's dope.
Safari, how about you?
I just had luckily, thank God, I had a brand new baby girl right before all of this happened.
Wow.
Congratulations, King.
Congrats.
Yo, congratulations, fam.
Thank you. Like right before the lockdown, my daughter was born. So then it's like I'm able to spend all the beginning time with her. You know what I'm saying? I'm able to work off the dad weight because I gained 12 pounds during the pregnancy. I was looking crazy. I lost.
How many kids you got? How many kids you got?
My first kid.
You catching up with Flav. You catching up with Flav. He got about 20.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie. After this first one, it's a lot of work. Like,
yeah, it ain't no joke.
You gotta have more though, man. You gotta have more.
Ain't no joke. Hey, Flav, how many kids you got, Flav?
I got 8.
Oh, I got you beat. I got 9.
What? You do?
Yeah,
hey, it's okay.
I got 7 boys and 2 girls, man.
Hey, don't sleep on me because I'm 61. I'm gonna still catch you. I'm still going for more.
Hey, I'm younger though. And
Akon, I hope you don't mind me. You know I'm a comedian, so sometimes I gotta come with the jokes. I know you African niggas don't believe in condoms.
I know. We just believe in legacy.
There you go. No condoms is a new legacy.
I need my kids to run it.
No condoms is a new legacy. I'm with it.
Me too. Akon, you're going to be good because one of my boys, Zebo, they used to play for Memphis Grizzlies, Sacramento, all them teams. He just retired. He said, Paul, how many kids you got? I got 2. He said, you got to have one more. He said, when it comes time for them to peak, if you go to the old folks' home or not, it got to be 3 to decide.
Right, on everything.
Lecrae, what have you been? Lecrae, what you been doing during the quarantine, bro?
Man, I've been playing 5-on-5 pickup games, going to pool parties, licking doorknobs. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Just out here living, man. You know, I ain't stopping.
Shaking hands.
Yeah, I mean, high five. You know, taking flights. Nah, I just been chilling, man. Honestly, I've been chilling, working on some. You know, I started a film production company, so we just been really writing a lot of stuff and tightening up some screws on some of the film stuff outside of the music. Trying to give me one of them Oscars, one of them little trophies that Paul got over there. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up.
There you go.
What's up.
There you go.
This next question is really directed towards all of y'all. What are some of the biggest
Wait a minute.
influences?
Hold on. No, it ain't. You know why? Because you ain't even asked me yet.
Well,
come on, Ernie.
Listen,
come on, you supposed to be the host with the most, B.
No doubt. I know. No doubt.
How you gonna make your man Flav out?
Flav, we got a lot of juicy questions, and I know your answers is going to be a television series. You're going to come with a lot of episodes. So I wanted to save some of the juicier shit for you.
All right, but anyway, but still in all, you know I got to put my foot in there. You know what I'm saying?
Please do.
A brother like me, I ain't gonna lie. I've been chilling here at the crib, you know what I'm saying? In and out of the supermarkets and shit, getting that toilet paper, sanitizer, napkins, all of that shit. I've been practicing my social distancing. I've been wearing the mask and all that shit, G. You know what I'm saying?
Flav, what you gonna do about that? What you gonna do about that $100,000 worth of fireworks you pop every year in Vegas and the police come?
Hey, I still got a little bit of that left in the garage too, man. Yo, but I also been in the studio, man, you know, just creating these records, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna drop this solo album. You know, also by surprise, I'm gonna fuck with Chuck, man. Me and Chuck, we gonna come with another Public Enemy album.
Oh, that's what's up. Well, I was gonna ask that before we got off too.
We need that. You know what? I need that. So guess what? I need me some tracks. So Paul,
say no more.
Calling you.
Man, call me.
And you know what? Just for the record,
just
for nostalgic's sake, like we talked about it before we all kind of went live with this. You know, Flav, I grew up on you, dog. You did Mad TV, and I just want to tip my hat to you, brother, because truly, you, Chuck D, Public Enemy, y'all set the standard for what hip hop is today. And I feel like a lot of it, in terms of where it's going, don't pay enough homage to niggas like you who laid down the foundation. But we'll get to that in another question. So let me move on.
All right.
To all of y'all, who are some of the biggest influences in your sound and you feel your style right now?
I'll go. And man, I tell you, every interview you can read that I've ever did, I tell them when I put together, when I was first putting together 3-6 Mafia Sound, I put together 3-6 Mafia Sound, listening to Public Enemy, Ghetto Boys, Luke Skywalker and 2 Live Crew, and NWA, and basically that's it. But Public Enemy and NWA and Ghetto Boys was 2 of the biggest influences, for sure. So like, when you listen to my songs and I change the beat up, that all came from Public Enemy and NWA all day, man. Beat switch ups in the middle of the song, all that, man. So Public Enemy for sure. I was just defending Public Enemy on an Instagram post the other day. Like 2 days ago, somebody said, yeah, we need to have a beat battle of Dr. Dre, and they named some other dude. And I was like, come on, man. Can't nobody compete against Dr. Dre unless it's going to be Hank Shock Lee and the whole Bomb Squad. That's the only people I'm trying to say no new dudes or nothing. Go against no Dr. Dre. It got to be the Bomb Squad. That's the only people.
Big shout out to my man. Big shout out to my man Willie D right now. Ghetto Boys, Houston. I did some with him recently. One of the Godfathers. Akon, same question to you, bro.
Oh man, me, it's funny because I think Public Enemy was in everybody's life. Me more from a conscious aspect, because I was a lot younger and I was learning a lot from them, especially coming from Africa and then coming into America and seeing how African people were being treated, Black people were being treated. So they was always there from a conscious standpoint for me to better understand the America that TV didn't show us in Africa. But ultimately, when I was in Africa, I listened to everything from Bob Marley to Black Guru, a lot of reggae, one-drop stuff. And then I came to the States and really got hooked on the hip-hop outside of, the Public Enemy. I was into the Rakim, Eric D. Eric B. and Rakim, Food Snickens. I mean, like, I was into the real creative aspect, right? You know what I'm saying? Lords of the Underground, like, that was literally my generation as we kind of came up. But then as I started to get more musical, then that's when I got, involved with the Fugees, and we started the refugee camp. And then, like, the whole refugee camp, we was all very musical foreigners. So
I didn't even know you was in that.
Yeah, that's how I started, So I was raised by, all the Puerto Ricans in New Jersey. So I was into bachata and merengue and like Zumba and all kind of craziness, man. So I was always influenced by international music. So I kind of knew that once I started doing music on my own, because I started as a writer, as a producer first. And then as I was demoing songs out to sell them to other artists, I got discovered through that process with Devon Stevens and Steve Rifkin. And they was like, man, who's the guy singing those songs, though? We need to give him a deal. And that's how I kind of pretty much came up. But I was influenced by a lot of music, man, coming up.
Wow, that's deep.
I want to throw one thing in there. A lot of people don't know that Akon produced one of the last 3 6 Mafia songs ever.
Oh, right. Oh, that shit was crazy too, wasn't it? That
was so fun. I still do it at shows. They love it.
No, that's what's up.
Safari, same question, brother.
I'm Jamaican, so a lot of my influence is dancehall. Like, I love reggae music, Bounty Killer, Beanie Man, and then that's like what I was raised on. And then it's like living in America over time, I started to like love Lil Wayne, and he was like the only person who I was listening to outside of like the reggae and the dancehall that I was listening to.
Yeah, Wayne is super consistent too, man. That little nigga boy.
Still the goal. Still.
Lecrae, back at you, brother.
Yeah, I was raised on TV, man, MTV, BET, you know what I'm saying? So I was just fortunate to be able to, everything about hip hop, you know what I mean, just raised me. I sat in front of that television for hours, so everything from, man, I mean, I can go down the line from, the legends and the icons sitting in front of me right now. You go from New York, all of the MCs coming out of New York to the Death Row era in the West Coast to Cash Money in the South. It was like, man, all of that stuff just made me who I am. You know what I'm saying?
Where are you from, Lecrae?
Originally, Houston, Texas. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Houston! Hey, yo!
I grew up with Paul Wall. I grew up with Slim Thug and all of them, you know what I'm saying? And so them was all my people. That's where I get the hustle mindset from, because we had to sell it out. When nobody was messing with my music, I had to sell it out the trunk. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Flavor, I'm asking you the same question, but I'm going to throw a little bit of a twist on it, because, again, I'm 45 years old. So I came up in an era where I saw the birth of MTV. And prior to Yo MTV Raps, MTV wasn't really putting hardcore brothers on the air. They played rap safe. No disrespect to Will Smith, but if you wasn't Will Smith, or you wasn't, and Run DMC is harder, but until they did Walk This Way, they wasn't giving hardcore brothers chance to shine. And Public Enemy was hardcore. So in terms of that question, who is your greatest influence? It seemed like y'all influenced everybody. So who influences EPMD?
Well, see, let me say this, when we came up and started making music, back in the days, you got to remember, you know what I'm saying? Like groups like the Fatback Band, you know what I'm saying? Our older generation, James Brown and shit, Four Tops and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people that was making break beats and shit like that. And see, you got to remember that when we first came out, Public Enemy, we were the first group to put out records with samples and everything. You know what I'm saying? So we was sampling everybody. We was sampling James Brown. We was sampling BT Express. We was sampling Ohio Players and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And the whole nine. And then also, my big rap influences, you know what I'm saying, was like Run DMC, Beastie Boys, Fat Boys, and shit like that from back in the days. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of that is, got incorporated into our shit. You know what I'm saying? And the whole nine. Now today, my biggest influence in sound is all of these new cats that's coming with this new sound. You know what I'm saying? And in order to be relevant, you got to have that new sound. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. But on that question, and I'm gonna let you start off because you just said that. So as we segue into this next question, I'm gonna let you start, and I'm gonna let everybody else finish. So here's my question, because again, a lot of people look at me as an angry motherfucker, like I'm an old bitter nigga. I'm stuck in my ways, and I grew up with hip hop. So I'm gonna be honest. This next question is personal to me. Boom. Is mumble rap an actual issue in the game? And what does it truly represent? Is the quality of rap now better, or has it digressed?
Y'all, let me say this. I'm a run at it just from being in the middle of generations. You know what I'm saying? I look at it like this. I feel like hip hop is kind of like rock music. Rock music used to be like this pure thing, and then it umbrellaed. And now it punk and grunge and all these different types of things underneath that umbrella. So it's weird because when you say hip hop, you know what I'm saying? I feel like in 2020, when you say hip hop, people don't really know. Like, you got to define what you're talking about, because Post Malone and Kendrick Lamar ain't the same. They like two different genres to me. You know what I'm saying? So you got to look at it from that perspective, as far as I'm concerned. Or Migos and J. Cole, like, in a lot of ways, like, they not the same. You know what I'm saying? So I look at it like it's so many splits and divisions and genres underneath
Lecrae, let me ask you something. How old are you?
38.
Okay. So because hip hop, as far as I know, has always been predicated on lyrics. And it seems like we've strayed so far away from lyrical ability to where all if you got is a catchy hook and a beat, that's what sells records now. And I understand this is a business. But like Jay-Z said, New York, home of the spitters. When you look at Nas, Jada, Biggie, Rakim, KRS, Eminem, Andre 3000, have we gotten so far away from lyrical ability that, you know...
It's my fault, man. It's my fault. I'm sorry, man. It's my fault, man. It's my fault. It's my fault. Too many people trying to sound like 3 6 Mafia. We should. I agree. I agree with Lecrae on this. I think there's nothing wrong with mumble rap. I think it's something out there for everybody. If it's people out there for everybody. There's an audience out there for mumble rap. There's an audience out there for this kind of rap. There's an audience out there for that kind of rap. It's just different kinds of rap. Paul. It can't be about lyrics. It can't be about lyrics. Because if we gonna say that, you know, New York, the home of the lyrics, this and that, that's cool. We should have it like this way. This area will focus on lyrics. This area, like down south, we'll focus on hooks and beats, and over here they focus on that. But don't nobody want to do that. Everybody want to sound the same. So until everybody go back to sounding different, then we can have that discussion. But you know,
let me just say this.
So if I can chime in,
Paul, hold on.
In a little bit.
Before you do,
Aries, let me chime in just 2 seconds.
Let me say this one thing, please.
Real quick, I promise I'm gonna let you end it off, Aries. Yeah, I promise I'm gonna let you end it off. Me personally, I don't think it's fair to stagnate hip hop to just lyrics, because I remember there was a time when at the same time Aries talking about that it was all about lyrics. You had a group like Nice and Smooth who really ain't said nothing either. You know what I'm saying? And they from that side. So what I'm saying is hip hop has become a chameleon. It's learned how to adapt to cultures. It's the reason why hip hop is country music, everybody's, because hip hop became for everybody. And I think the biggest mistake that the old school and the founders of hip hop made was they never allowed hip hop to grow if it would have been under their captivation and management. But the fact is, hip hop was bigger than that part. It was bigger than New York, than the culture itself. We have to allow it to grow and become something that represents Black people in general. But it's just now that people, that's no matter what race you are, you find a Black side of you, and then that's how you actually define your culture through hip hop music. So I think when people, and it's always more it comes from New York more than anywhere else, because New York feel like they created hip hop and it should stay the way it was created. But I honestly disagree because I think that's the reason why the world has been connected through hip hop music, and hip hop deserves more value than just stagnated to one style.
Hey,
You know what I'm
Akon, I just want to be clear. I'm not disagreeing with you. Hip hop, like any art form, comedy, music, dance, acting, it's all subjective.
Right.
And what I love is no matter what your style, no matter what you like, everybody got something to bring to the table. One of my favorite lyrics is when Fat Joe said, "What y'all so mad at the South for? Switch up your style, switch to Southpaw." All I'm saying is, with every genre should come a higher level of excellence. And I feel like now we are trading lyricism.
Now let me ask you this. But let me ask you this, Aries. And it's funny because I tried it. It ain't easy doing mumble rap, bro. That shit is not
You mean
easy.
it's not easy sounding?
Man, listen.
It's not easy sounding. It's not easy.
No, it's not easy. Listen,
Akon.
Listen, I promise you, Aries, I'll tell you right now, go in the studio and try to make one of those mumble raps, and I guarantee you won't succeed. It's not that easy, bro. That shit is not easy.
Hold on.
It's a very difficult style to achieve when you're used to doing it a certain kind of way. I tried to go in and do some mumble rap to see if I could fit in. Bro, I sound horrible trying that shit.
Because it's not easy sounding retarded.
No, it's not, but that's what I'm saying. That's what makes it genius. The fact that it sounds so simple, but it's super hard to achieve. Dog, I promise you, I think y'all taking that shit for granted, bro.
So intelligent. So stupid is the new intelligence.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Hey, yo, check this out. Let me go ahead. Let me butt in for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Because see, I mean, you know, like when we first started doing rap music and shit, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it was really all about messages that was in the music.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, we always had a story to tell, or we always talked about what happened, about the problems in our neighborhoods, but in the same record, we always came up with the solution too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But now today, younger cats, you know what I'm saying, is on a whole different plane with this rap shit. You know what I'm saying? It's called changing of the guards. You know what I'm saying? And we must respect change because time changes and people change with it. And
That's not always a good thing.
Change with the
But
times.
that's not always a good thing.
But Aries, it's not a bad thing either because you got to think. Look at the generation and where y'all came up in the 80s and the early 90s, right? There wasn't much for us to do. Even sports was limited to how many people could make it into that field. You know how many jobs hip hop has created? How much crime has took off the street? How much it actually gave kids an activity or something to do? Because the boys and girls clubs and all that don't exist in the hood no more. This is actually saving lives.
But Akon, let me ask you this. This. If the quality of music is not getting better, no matter how many jobs it provides, if it's not moving us forward, does that do more harm?
But it
than
is
good?
moving us forward, though. It's moving us forward, and I think quality is a matter of opinion. You may think it's horrible quality, but my kids think it's the best thing they've ever heard.
Forward. It's way forward. It's so forward that New York rappers sound like the same dudes who you talking about.
Because they trying to eat. Because they trying to eat. Because they trying to eat.
New York influenced by the South. At this point in time, the hip hop.
The South wouldn't be no hip hop if it wasn't for the South. It wouldn't. No hip hop.
South helped to expand hip hop for sure.
No, listen. When you think of some of the top Southern rappers, Jeezy, Ludacris, Andre 3000, I could go on and on and on. Hip hop needed that.
Yeah,
it needed that to evolve. But all those guys I named are top quality rappers.
Master P ain't no great rapper, but he still was influential in hip hop.
Master P wasn't no lyricist, and he made more money than all these rappers put together.
No, hold on. MC Hammer wasn't no rapper. He made more money than all y'all.
Look,
you know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying
look. Flavor Flav was a hype man that beat out all rappers.
The biggest icon in hip hop.
Yeah, he beat out all rappers.
Right.
So here's my question. Here's my question before I move on to the next question. And let's be honest. Can we have a moment of honesty? Based on everything y'all just said, deep down inside. Y'all okay with all of that? Y'all are okay with all of that? Knowing that?
I actually am. I actually enjoy today's hip hop. I love it.
I love it. It's some good.
Roddy Ricch hard, bro. Like,
yeah, that's my little protege right there. He a beast.
There's some good hip hop out there right now, man. I'm talking about some.
Hey, a guy like me, man. I just adapt to the change, man. You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
I mean, back in the days when we was doing this shit, I mean, hip hop was like, throw your hands in the air and wave like you just don't care. And shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Listen,
And
for the
you have
record,
crowd.
for the
It was
record,
a vibe.
for the
You have
record, hold on.
crowd chanting shit. There's not really that much of that shit going on anymore. You know what I'm saying? Hip hop has changed, but we gotta respect the game. You know what I'm saying? We gotta respect the change.
Flavor, for the record, let me just say, because I know I get called a hater a lot because I'm a New York nigga, proud Timbs. I wear my Timbs when I go to the beach with Speedos, nigga. I'm simply saying all of hip hop's contributions, whether you from the South, the West, the West Coast, the Midwest, New York, all of it is great as long as it's quality. I'm just saying, it seems like with some of this mumble rap, to become a rap star, you don't have to have quality. You don't have to have real content. You don't have to be having a message.
It's a matter of opinion, though, Aries. I still think quality is a matter of opinion when it comes to hip hop.
It is a matter of opinion. That's kind of like saying that when MC Hammer came out and he was wearing baggy pants, that wasn't quality, that wasn't cool. You know, it was different and it was fucking cool, and everybody started doing it. You got to do something different to lead for other people to try something different. We can't keep doing the same thing. New York, they keep doing the same thing, but I'm gonna be honest.
You gotta grow.
I miss old school New York hip hop. And when the new Public Enemy album come out, I hope it sound like the old shit. I don't even want it to sound like that.
Believe me, it will.
I grew up on New York hip hop. I love old school New York hip hop. Nigga, I'm over here listening to Super Lover C and Casanova Rudd. You don't even know what that is.
Yeah, you went back.
You don't even know what that is.
Right.
Hey.
Stupidly, when I'm pumping them, I be on that old school shit.
Yo, my motherfucking style style is gonna stay the same because I don't know how to mumble, man, too good. Not unless I got a bunch of shit in my mouth.
I'll tell you, that mumbling ain't no joke, boy. It's hard. It's hard.
I know
Hey,
it
Safari,
is.
you ever tried to mumble rap?
I tried it, but
We all tried it. We can't even front. We tried it. Nigga, I can't do it. I tried. I can't.
Hey,
let me.
That's why I like
rap ain't nothing. Mumble rap ain't nothing but another style of rap. That's all, you know. And
Let me switch directions for a second.
That's the shit that's hitting today. That's the shit that's working. That's the shit that's selling records right now and shit. You know what I'm saying?
And today defense, the reason why majority of them are mumbling because most of these cats be on drugs in the studio. They can barely talk. They can barely feel their feet, man.
There's a lot of
quality music.
But yeah, it is to the drug addicts. To the drug addicts, that's quality
and
music.
that's our level. That's the bar. Is that the bar? But is that the bar?
So I can't relate to it, but I like the way it sounds. I don't really gotta know because I'm a melody person, so I don't really gotta hear what you're saying.
I want some more of us.
I want to hear
what you're saying.
I want some more of us. Can we bring this back?
There it is.
All right, let me switch gears, fellas. Let me switch gears for a second.
Creatively, Polo boy.
Let me switch gears for a second. Creatively, who have you guys have yet to collab with? Who would you like to collab with? Safari.
I didn't collab with everybody already.
Yeah, Akon, you can't ask Akon that. Everybody.
Only person I would like to collab with is Elvis at this point.
Elvis was the hero the most.
But he never meant. Straight up.
Good.
I know one person that I think Akon ain't collab with that I would have loved to see. And that would have been Prince.
Oh, you know what? We was almost there too before he passed, bro.
Man, Prince.
He was almost there, man.
He my favorite.
I was able to catch Whitney and Michael Jackson, but Prince was next. We was literally in conversation before it all happened.
Lecrae, how about you?
Yo, before Prince passed away, man, you know what I'm saying? I got to see him over in Australia. You know what I'm saying? And my man called me up on the stage. He called me up on the stage and shit, right? He gave me the mic and walked away. And I was like, oh, shit. And they was playing this groove, play that funky music. Hey, yo, I was stuck like a motherfucker. I started doing 911 as a joke to that shit. That shit came off like
They tried to play that fucking music, right, boy? They brought up the niggerest nigga they could have found.
Yeah.
Hey, Lecrae, answer that question for me, dog.
Honestly, man, I would have loved. I mean, like, since Akon threw out Elvis, I'm gonna throw out Tupac. You know what I'm saying?
you go.
I'd have loved, man. That'd have been crazy. You know what I'm saying? He just was he's iconic. And then probably Lauryn Hill living. You know what I mean?
Right.
Hey, yo, I'm gonna tell you something, man. When it comes down to Tupac, I just want to say rest in peace to my brother. If it wasn't for Tupac, I would not be on this phone with y'all today. You know what I'm saying? Because back in the days when we was all out on tour, Public Enemy, motherfucking Queen Latifah and all of us, Digital Underground, and we was up in Kansas and shit, you know what I'm saying? This motherfucker broke in the dressing room. Somebody broke in the dressing room and stole S1W's Uzis. They stole Chuck D's Raiders jacket. So we caught the motherfucker that did it, took him in the dressing room. Everybody started beating him up. Pop backed everybody away, took his belt off, and he started beating the motherfucker with his belt, right? So I stood up on top of this chair and I grabbed the fire extinguisher. And I was waiting for my clearance. I was gonna hit this motherfucker in the head. And when Tupac see me with that fucking fire extinguisher, he pushed me up against the wall, knocked the fire extinguisher out of my hand and said, yo, man, you fucking crazy? You're gonna kill a fucking dude, man. Tupac stopped me from committing a murder by accident. That's why I'm on the phone today with y'all. Thanks to my boy
There it is.
Tupac. Yeah, G.
There it is. That's the beauty of it. Hey, man, listen, that's all the time we have right now. Let the record reflect. Cameo will be donating.
We taking this all the way back to Houston, baby. I got an office on Fondren. I lived in Ailey. Let's go, Houston.
Houston in the building.
You hear me?
Huh?
But I
want one of those beats. I need one of those beats, and I want an international hook from Akon.
Come on, bro. That's easy. That's easy.
Well, gentlemen, let me give this the proper send-off. Cameo will be donating proceeds to the charities helping those affected by COVID-19. So please donate or make your Cameo requests now in the description that will be listed below. Big shout out, big love, and big respect to all the gentlemen here today. Paul B, Safari, the Craymore, Flavor Flav, Akon. It's your boy Aries Spears. Again, Cameo me for any requests, deaths, marriages, broke up, divorce, all that shit. I'm celebrating tragedies. The podcast, Spears and Steinberg. DM me, Instagram, I'll give you the link. There we go. Any parting words, gentlemen?
Hey, everybody.
You didn't ask me who I want to work with.
Paul B, who you want to work with, baby?
Oh, man, I want to work with Dr. Dre, man. I want to work with Dr. Dre. I grew up on Dr. Dre, but we'll get into that next time.
All right, Safari, any last words?
Yeah, I need something from Paul, Akon, and the hook. That's that.
Man, that's easy, man. I got you. That's easy. Safari, you out west too, right?
Yeah, I'm in Cali right now, but I'll be back in Atlanta next week.
Safari, you out west, right?
Atlanta, ATL.
Atlanta, okay, yeah, man. It's easy, man. Let's make it happen.
Lecrae, anything?
Craig, what we doing, Craig?
You said what happened?
Nigga, what we doing?
Oh, you let me know, man.
Come on, dog.
You let me know. It's easy.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
You let me know.
Hey, we still online or we off?
Akon, any last words? Flav, any last words?
Hey, yo, check 1, 2. I just want to say it's real good, man, seeing everybody here, man, on this tube right now. You know what I'm saying? Word up, man. And this is like a family reunion to me, man. You know what I'm saying? Word up, man. Hey, yo, Akon. Hey, yo, get my number, man. Hit me up, man. Word up, man. I want to collab with you. I want to do something with you.
I got you. Let's go. I got records for you.
I know you ain't done.
Bro. Listen, hey, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised how many records you hear on the radio right now that I produce and wrote. I ain't stopped.
Yo, can I get a record?
I just took a break as an artist, but as a writer producer, I'm still heavy.
Can I get a record, Akon? Can I get a record?
I got you. All you had to do was say I was coming back. I got records right now that would, man, wait till you hear these records for EP. Man, just wait. You see.
Yo, I need to connect with you. Hey, yo, Paul, can I get a beat? Can I get some music?
You know I
This
got
Public Enemy album.
Come on, you know I got. We've been
Hey, yo,
talking about
hold
this
on,
every time we get drunk in the casino. You say you go come to the studio, you never do it.
When we hang up this phone, I'm calling. When we hang up this phone, I'm calling you, dog.
I'm
Hey,
here,
dog,
right here.
I'm calling you, man. Hey, yo, Aries, so good seeing you, my guy.
Always, baby.
Love
Take
you,
care of
bro.
yourself, man. And much love and congratulations to all of you brothers on your success. I wish y'all nothing but the best, man.
Everybody stay safe. Wash your hands, man. Wash your hands.
There you go.
All right.
And make sure you wear your mask.
No! What?